Hello and welcome. I hope you're safe and well. In today's exciting episode, I make a mock-up of a jacket. It's very, very cropped. It's from the 1950s, Simplicity 9738.
It's perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Perfect jacket.
So this month's theme is the movie You've Got Mail, and she works in a bookstore, and I decided I'd make some dresses that I would wear if I did story time, because she does story time on Saturdays. And this is lots of different fabrics in orange and pinks, hot pink. And I've made the skirt of a layer cake dress. Now I just need to make the bodice, but we shall set that aside because layer cake dresses take forever. And it's well and truly time for me to make another mock-up. So we've got Simplicity S9738. And I think it's a Barbie dress. The dress is supposed to be like. But anyway, I'm not making the dress, although it does look very lovely. I am going to make this jacket, but without the collar, because I think the collar's a little too pretty and very 1950s. I like it, the neckline just a little bit off my neck. So, and these are the specifications if you want to take a screenshot. So let's get down to it. I'm going to make the white jacket, but I'm just going to use a fabric that I was actually going to use these two fabrics in two different layer cake dresses. But anyway, so the pieces I want, it's actually quite simple. It's a dolman sleeve, so which means the sleeve is grown on. It's not a separate sleeve that you have to attach. So it's all of the front and all of the back. So pieces 10 and 11. Instead of doing facing, I'm doing a reversible. So I've got the one with the yellow and red roses is one side, and the pink one with the deep red and lemon flowers is the other side. So I cut the back out on the fold, and I've cut two fronts in each one. Now this pattern is a doozy because it's got darts on the back as well as several on the front. So there's two at the elbow, there's two in the back, like either side of your spine, and then at the front on your shoulder there's two there as well, well, one on each side. But because I'm doing reversible, there's there's twice as many as well. So this took me forever. And I've got this one here with the roses is a cotton lawn, which is quite thin fabric. And the other one is a quilting cotton. So that's sort of standard, sturdier. And what I had to do is mark out each of the darts, and then I had to sew them. I hate using a machine to sew darts. I hate darts. It's like, when they first invented cake in a box, those cake mixes, and no one would buy them because they felt like it was cheating. So they took out the eggs, and then everyone bought it because they felt like they were really making a cake. Anyway, so I did the darts, and then you push them to the side. Generally speaking, you push all darts into the center. And as long as you do it uniformly, it doesn't really matter what you do. Once I'd done the darts, then I pinned the front and the back of each side together. So front of the roses to the back of the roses, front of the pink one to the back of the pink one. And then I machine sewed it. Then I clipped the curves, and then I splayed the seam allowance open, and then I had to hand stitch it down. Every time I do a mock-up, I end up doing a reversible jacket. It does mean that I actually get to wear it, but there is so much hand sewing in this, you would not believe. Anyway, the reason in the 1950s after World War II, obviously during World War II, all the women had, and this is me showing you that I've actually sewn everything, all the women had been working in factories and receiving the same pay as a man. But then after World War II, all the men had to get their jobs back, and all the women had to go back to being housewives and just be happy about not having any money. or autonomy. And so the marketing departments all decided that they'd just make really difficult sewing patterns and really difficult recipes for women to sew. Oh, and now that I've finished all the hand sewing, I'm going to move this aside and I'll show you them on the mannequins. Anyway, so that's why sewing patterns from the 1950s are really, really complicated. And that's why there's darts instead of just cutting out a couple of extra pieces and doing princess themes. They make you do all these darts and all these things that take a really long time. And you have to buy binding and you have to buy this and you have to buy that. So that, yeah, anyway. So we have the yellow side and the pink side. These fabrics are adorable. I should have saved them for a Regency, like Jane Austen type jacket. Well, they're called Spencer's, but yeah, jacket. That would have been adorable. This one, like, as always, when you put it on the mannequin before the neckline is done, it doesn't sit correctly. So it's a bit deceiving. So it is going to come down a little bit, but I do not like this. Like, I always wear my jackets over a t-shirt, like just a standard t-shirt anyway. So it's not going to be revealing in any way. But I just prefer it if it was like 2 inches, 4 inches lower myself. So I think I'll keep making this. So now that both sides are done, each side is done, I just pin them together and bag line them. What that means is you just pin the neckline, the front, around the back, and you machine sew it, and then you pull the entire jacket very carefully through one arm, through one sleeve. Of course, you clip the curves first and you cut the front corners. You just have to cut that triangle of fabric off so that when you turn out the corners, they sit correctly. But yeah, so this is me just showing you that I've clipped the corners because and clip the curves so that when I turn it out and press it and then you top stitch it, it'll all sit properly. And then you just very carefully pull it through one sleeve and then you just tuck the reversible side in again. And there we go. These two fabrics look amazing together. I really wish I'd done it a little bit longer because, yeah, I think I'm going to make this again because like the actual jacket I just don't like how cropped it is. It accentuates the wrong things, and I don't think it's flattering having it so closed and high, the neckline so high at the front. I think most people are insecure about if anything, they're insecure about their midriff and their bottom half. I don't think many people are insecure about their bust. If you are, this will be an excellent jacket for you because it'll look like you have volume when you don't. So if you're super, super flat, this might be a really good jacket for you. Or if you just hate, like you love wearing strappy dresses, but you hate having your sleeves out, your arms out, maybe this will be good too, because it doesn't actually cover anything except your arms. It reminds me of, do you remember around the turn of the century, there were like something called shrugs or something, and they were basically just sleeves with no torso. They just seemed a little bit useless to me. But anyway, there you go. I love these two fabrics and I just wish I'd made it a little bit longer. So anyway, when I make it again, I think I will deepen the neckline to my usual, just basically twice as deep as what it is now. And then I also think instead of having the rounded corner at the front bottom, what I'll do is bring it down so that the front is as low as the back, and it will still be quite very cropped, but it will be more, it'll be more what I want, because I want something that's just a really clean, clear, blank canvas that I can just do loads of beading on. I mean, I do think the darts on the back, they give it shape and they look good. And for a dolman sleeve, so the sleeves aren't set, it is quite good shape. They're not as baggy as a normal dolman sleeve. So it is a good jacket, but it's too short for me. I mean, I'm just going to wear it over a t-shirt. It doesn't actually matter. But, and this is it with the necklace on top. I had to have a coughing fit. So, and then I think I turn back the front and make them sort of lapels. And that looks good. If you had 2 matching brooches, that would look cute if you did that. And I do think these 2 fabrics go beautifully together. So yeah, I do like this pattern, but I'm definitely going to make a few tweaks to it before I do it again. Is it worth doing again? I don't know. I might do another couple of patterns first and then redo this one. Maybe also lengthen the sleeves. At a certain point, it's just like, just use a different pattern or make a pattern from scratch. But if you don't know, like if you want something to start with, then yeah. If you want something very 1950s, this is very, very 1950s, I think. But yeah, it's kind of all the things that I don't, all the things I try to avoid when I'm making 1950s things, like the collar's too tight, the sleeves are at an awkward, they're not the kind of thing you can really work in. They're just for a garden party. And you have to sort of stand upright and use the exact weighted fabric for it to sit correctly, or you just have to stand perfectly still. So I like things that are a little bit more practical, or a lot more practical. But it does look pretty. I feel like the illustration isn't exactly accurate. It seems to me like there's a bigger distance between the bust and the neckline, whereas I just feel like, well, this is a bad example because I haven't done the neckline here yet, but the jacket is supposed to have a collar. Yeah, I just feel like it's just really, really, that it's so cropped. The hemline, it's ridiculously cropped. I really wish I'd noticed how cropped it was before I cut the fabric. And if you don't sit the jacket exactly right, then you can tell that it's not on, like it's slightly crooked. I don't like that either. But I mean, it's adorable, but it's just not for me. I should have put a t-shirt on the mannequin. Then you would have seen, then it would have looked fine. I think it's the weight of it too that I don't exactly like. It's if you used a heavier fabric, like if you did this in a tapestry fabric, I think that would look amazing because it just needs a little bit more weight. But yeah, the darts do look good on the back. They work. They're much nicer than the other dolman sleeve jackets that I have. I don't think the darts on the front are particularly great, and I don't like that neckline. I think it needs to be deeper. I would much rather have the curve at the top and a straight hemline. But why did I do this jacket when I don't like anything about it? I do think the sleeves are good. Awkward length at the elbows, but very pretty. I think I'm just upset because You've Got Mail, because she was having in the movie, she has an existential crisis, and I'm like, okay, I'll do that movie, and then I can spend the month thinking about what I'm going to do with my life, because I'm kind of at that point where I'm like, yeah, I've got to do something different. So yes, I don't know what that will be, and I just feel like I haven't taken quite enough time to think about that. Kathleen Kelly decides to write children's books, which would be adorable, but my life isn't exactly, my writing tends to be tiny bit autobiographical. By tiny bit, I mean a lot. So yeah, I'm not sure children's books would be it. That said, when I lived in India and worked with kids who had complex trauma, I was very good at it. So, I don't know. We shall see. Anyway, this jacket, it's growing on me. I love these fabrics. I just wish I'd made it a little bit longer. And how can I add weight too? I think I'll just put brooches on it. It's just that the bottom of the front is the bit that needs the weight for it to sit right. So I guess I could just put some beading all along the front edges. I have some clear glass seed beads, so I could just stitch them right along the edges. Ooh, actually, I've got this gorgeous scarlet red bugle beads, and I could put them in along. So instead of piping, it would actually be beading right along all the edges. Maybe I'll do that. I think the scarlet red would go well with both sides. I know the yellow side has sort of real red roses in it, but I do think the scarlet red would look good with it. And that way you just have that tiny bit more weight around everywhere. And that would work. Maybe that's what it is. Like, I'm just so used to wearing heavy jackets. Like, if you sleep under a weighted blanket and then you just sleep under a regular blanket or a sheet, you're just like, what's going on? What's going on? Maybe that's what it is. Anyway, that is it for this episode. Thank you very much for watching. If you only have a yard or a yard and a half of a really, really beautiful fabric and it's not enough to make any other pattern, then I definitely would give this one a go, because it didn't take much fabric at all. This is obviously a smaller size, but in a standard size, it still wouldn't take... I'd be surprised if it took more than 1 yard. I mean, it depends how wide your fabric is, because, as I said, it's a dolman sleeve, so you have to cut the front and the sleeve and the back and the sleeve all in one. So can be a bit tricky just because of how big and awkward each shape each piece is. But yeah, it's quite simple to put together, especially when, like, I didn't do the collar and I made it reversible, but you can just fully line it. Next episode is going to be another layer cake dress. I still can't decide what I'm going to do with the bodice. I've got loads of the plaid orange fabric and loads of the hot pink fabric left. So I don't know, and not really much else. A few patches of other things. So maybe I'll make a patchwork bodice. Maybe I'll just use the plaid one with a few accents of the pink. Or maybe I could add a collar. We shall see. Anyway, thanks again for watching and happy sewing.